Hello there, everybody. All right, this is a preview of what we're doing this afternoon. So don't cop it all, if you don't mind. If you can make it this afternoon, especially if you're taking the test, I think it'd be a much more beneficial activity for you if you don't copy everything I'm putting. Because these are not the answers; these are some answers. But what we're going to do is going to look at the history in a different light, and we're going to go by category this time. So remember, the categories are AP work can make grades seriously awful. So America and the world, politics and power, culture, migration can make grades. I didn't. Ooh, this is why you don't want to copy. I forgot geography. I skipped geography. So after I get through, I'll have to, maybe while I'm doing it, I'll do a little geography. All right, but nope, didn't do. Oh, Mackenzie, you're an idiot. Geography can make grades. Seriously, social structure, and awful, American in the world. All right, so I've got to do some work on geography at the very least. All right, so I am making an executive decision. This video is going to be 15 minutes. And so the longer version. Okay, so if we look at it, I think it'll go to presentation and not be back at the very beginning. Yeah. All right, so you got America and the world. All right, and so there you see the first period, 1491 to 1607. So I've got some, what America kind of was, its place in the world. So it might be called New World. You had the empires. To Columbus, it was Asia. It was a Spanish colony. All right, from 1600, the second period, that the America and the world is English colonies, part of the English empire. It exists for the sake of the English empire. It's a little more, City on a Hill, a little more identity. So this is kind of a rough draft. And its places also, it's a refuge for folks, Puritans, Catholics, debtors, folks trying to get away. All right. It's colonies. It's it's either French or British colonies in the next period. It's a weak new country at the beginning. We're kind of getting pushed around. Part of the reason for the Constitution. Washington says, America and the world a lot of times is foreign policy. So it's an isolationist place because, it's separated by the oceans. All right, Jefferson-Jackson period. You got this manifest destiny thing going. All right. Also the Monroe. So again, still isolationist Monroe Doctrine. What the Henry Clay's got the American system make us economically independent. It's the source of the world cotton supply. All right, cotton is king. All right, so that's another thing it is in the world. Okay, 1844 to 1877. This is that Civil War period. So there's not much foreign policy. It's growing. And they're settling this problem over slavery, which is kind of necessary for it to grow. I think I ought to put, I don't know, how do I'll just put Britain. How about that? I mean, the whole question in this period is Europe going to help? Or are they going to stay out of it? All right. So from Lincoln's point of view, he still kind of wants to be isolated. And the Confederate point of view, you want this this alliance with Britain. All right, the Gilded Age, and I think it goes to 1898. I think it's 1865 to 1898. Well, this is this industrial period, and it's the new Colossus, the new power. But still, beyond industry, it's a leading steel maker. Beyond industry, you still kind of got the isolationism going. All right, 1948, the next period, you got Roosevelt corollary, so we're becoming, the king of the Western Hemisphere, becoming a little imperialist. World War I, Wilson's trying to save the world. Then kind of back to isolationism for a little while, and isolationism is, the big problem. All right, so there's one of them. What do you think that took? I think that took about 5 minutes. So let's do 3 categories, and then you kind of do the other ones. And like I said, if you're thinking to yourself, hey, Mackenzie, you should have said such and such. Well, probably so. This is a different kind of thinking. And so between, this morning and this afternoon at 2 o'clock, I'm going to look back at it. I'm going to add geography. But as long as I keep it fairly short, it'll process quick. It's about 8:15 in the morning right now. I started on it last night. So maybe to get to you about 10 o'clock if I go kind of quick here and keep it short. All right, politics. So let's run through politics. AP work has changed. Yeah. Maybe I'll do two of them. Maybe all right. So the politics and power. It's the conquistadors. Maybe the again the empires. The Aztecs, the Incas, and then the conquistadors coming over, Cortez, Pizarro. North American stuff, the Iroquois Confederation, that's pretty good. All right, okay. The English colonial period, I put leaders, political leaders: John Smith, Lord Baltimore, Winthrop, Roger Williams in Rhode Island, William Penn, Oglethorpe. Those are kind of the guys who had the power in the colonies. Okay, there's more stuff you could put. 17. So the Revolutionary War period. So you got the Patriots versus Loyalists. You still kind of got mercantilism, maybe the mother country. You might say Articles of Confederation sets up this weak government. Too weak. It can't handle Shays' Rebellion. It can't tax. Can't enforce laws. So then you got the debate over the Constitution, the writing of the Constitution, and maybe, we want to put, the Constitution in there. And then the first political parties, Federalists and Democratic Republicans, the Hamilton-Adams versus the Jefferson-Madison. Okay, the Manifest Destiny, Jeffersonian democracy. It's his version of the yeoman farmer, his common man, and he's kind of dominating elections. He's a two-termer. So's Madison, a two-termer. Monroe's a two-termer. Era of good feelings. You just got one political party because the Federalists die out during the War of 1812. What was that thing called? The Hartford Convention. Democrats versus Whigs in the Jacksonian democracy. All right, 44 to 87, the Whigs split over slavery. Republicans are born. Kind of a realignment. Republicans going to dominate for a while because of Lincoln. Politics is sectional. The Democrats become the party of the South. Ooh, the Redeemers. That'd be a good thing to put. The radical Republicans versus the Redeemers. Okay, Gilded Age. Everything. The government's leaving business alone. Party bosses, symbolized by Boss Tweed. Garfield's trying to make things a little more honest. Doesn't work out well for him. Arthur does what's that thing called? The merit system, Pendleton Act. All right, 1890 to 1945, the last of them. Hey, it's the progressive era. There, progressives are kind of driving politics, progressive presidents, state and local, I ought to go democracy, initiative, referendum, recall, Australian ballot, city council system. On the presidential level, you get the return to normalcy in the 20s, conservative governments, and then the New Deal. All right, AP work. All right, so we're going to go one more. All right, one more category, then I'm stopping it so I can get it sent out at a reasonable hour. And what I would do is try to think about it before we get together so that you've kind of got some answers prepared. All right, period one. All right, everybody's hunter-gatherer. So this is how people make a living. All right, then they settle down when they become farmers, corn, beans, and squash. All right, for the Spanish, it's all about gold, the encomienda system. The Indians get commended to them as slaves to mine gold for them, and, then they die. Oh my gosh, look what I didn't put. All right, you got to do that. Duh. Columbian Exchange. I mean, there's, it's got the word in it. And so what I think this does is it allows us kind of think on our feet in a different way, because whatever the question is going to ask you to rearrange all this history in some kind of new combination, and you got to do it quick. You got a time limit. So even though you got your notes and you got your book, you got to go quick. If you sit there thumbing through the notes for very long, that's probably not going to go too well. All right, you're going to run out of time. Okay. Let me see. All right, period two. Hey, you got the lazy second sons. They won't work. Tobacco saves Jamestown. Mercantilism up in New England. You got timber, fish, and fur. the breadbasket colonies in the middle, and like the Benjamin Franklin's our first inventor, the lightning rod and the bifocals. All right, Franklin's stove. Anything else he invented? Let's see, 1754 to 1800. Navigation Acts is all about trade. You know, most of these laws leading up to the Revolution are economic in one way or another. The Tea Act's a monopoly, no taxation without representation. Hamilton's program with tariffs, the Bank of the U.S., the rebellion of the Western farmers feel like the Eastern governments, screwing them economically, right? All right. Can I go down? No, that won't work. So is this going to be? Yeah, this is going to be our last slide here. Then I'm going to stop it so it's manageable and that it upload and process for us. All right, Jefferson Jackson period. Louisiana Purchase creating that permanent frontier safety valve for the farmers. The Embargo Act, because of the impressment, we're not trading with anybody, creates a bad economy. Ooh, I'll put panic of what? 1837 in this one. The pet banks. All right, the American system after the War of 1812, Henry Clay, the tariff, the transportation improvements, and the second bank, the market revolution, all that stuff. So what you had, transportation improvements, you had all those inventions, you had industry, the Lowell girls, Samuel Slater's brings it over. Manifest Destiny period, Polk wanted California so we could trade with China. Emancipation Proclamation is hurting, all the planters are going to go back home because the slaves might run away. All right, interchangeable parts is winning the war, that invention. The Anaconda Plan is cutting the South in two, so no Longhorns get to the east. The embargo, no cotton out, no supplies in. During Reconstruction, African American sharecroppers and tenant farming. You got the Panic of 1873, kind of helps lead to the end of Reconstruction. The Gilded Age, hey, this is all about economics, right? So all the industrialists, the railroads, the monopolies, and the trusts, like the inventions, the use of, Rockefeller's use of oil, the Standard Oil, Bessemer process, the steel mill looks like hell down there inside. They practice vertical integration, controlling every step of the production process. Taconite, coke, and limestone fed my children, maybe, however it goes in Youngstown. Horizontal consolidation, he's cutting out the middleman. That's vertical. Horizontal, he controls it east to west. All right, the strikes, that's economic. The workers are being treated bad. All right, last period, hey, we're becoming imperialists. That's an economic thing. Roosevelt corollary, hey, even if they owe you money, we'll be the debt collector. In the 20s, people are credit buying for the first time, trying to get the consumer goods, the irons and refrigerators and so forth. Obviously, the Depression, 25% unemployment. Let's see, the recovery New Deal programs, just giving people jobs. The reform programs, FDIC, the SEC. Also during World War II, war production ends the war. The atomic bomb is an invention. Okay, so there's more categories. I've still got to do geography, and I want to keep it short. So I'm hoping I landed right on 15 minutes. Let's see.